If you thought the love and hip-hop drama was finally over, think again. This latest bombshell has completely upended the franchise, and I promise you won't be ready for what's about to happen. Kirk Frost and Kendra Robinson, two names you never would have thought to hear together, are at the center of an explosive scandal. Allegations of a hidden affair have surfaced, and the evidence is not only messy but could also end your career. The person behind the shocking revelations is none other than me. According to sources, he has been holding onto this information for weeks and is now finally revealing everything. If you think this is just another love and hip-hop plot, think again. This scandal cuts deeper, hits harder, and divulges secrets that some people would prefer to keep hidden. So grab your tea, find a comfortable seat, and get ready for the most dramatic, shocking, and unforgettable moment in the show's history. It all began as an ordinary love and hip-hop reunion that involved taping one of those tense high-energy events where unresolved issues tend to bubble up for the cameras. But no one could have predicted how much the events of the night would shake the entire franchise. Kirk Frost arrived apart from his wife Rashida, a subtle but suspicious detail that caught the attention of both the cast and crew. Meanwhile, Kendra Robinson appeared alongside Jock, but something was definitely off. Jock is usually full of jokes, and charisma was unusually quiet. Kendra's demeanor was even more telling. Every sidelong glance and forced smile seemed to hint that something wasn't quite right as the production. When the crew had positioned and prepared to film, an unexpected guest arrived. According to M's insiders, he had been holding on to some damning information for weeks, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. The cast members exchanged nervous glances as he strode into the room, sensing that something significant was about to happen. M wasted no time in approaching Kirk, leaning in and saying something that turned Kirk's face ashen. According to witnesses, Kirk attempted to dismiss it with a nervous laugh. But I wasn't laughing, so the cameras began to roll, and the typical reunion drama began. Arguments from previous seasons and repeated betrayals soon took a backseat. But then, with a tone of complete conviction, Mendeecees said, "You know what this is about. We need to talk." The room fell silent, and even the production crew, who usually wasn't concerned about the cast's antics, seemed captivated. Mendeecees didn't reveal all the details right away, but the implications were obvious. Mendeecees had proof, not just any proof, receipts, but explicit text messages between Kirk and Kendra that left little room for innocent. Rashida, who was still unaware of the full scope of the revelations, maintained her composure but was clearly tense because she had experienced enough with Kirk over the years. The explanations and language were unmistakably full of flirtation, late-night meeting arrangements, and promises that couldn't be mistaken as platonic. Aside from the hotel reservations, there were also Cash App transactions that, while not incriminating in and of themselves, raised more questions than they answered. Other cast members were equally shocked. Some whispered among themselves, trying to piece together what they'd overheard, while others remained tight-lipped, sensing that this was a powder keg about to happen. Despite rumors, accusations, and even a confirmed affair that resulted in a child outside of their marriage, she had always chosen to support him and put up a united front. However, this time, the betrayal wasn't just whispered about in blogs or speculated on by fans. It was revealed in an unquestionably detailed way. As the reunion taped, the tension was palpable, with everyone waiting for the other shoe to drop, for me to say more, for Kirk to deny or confirm the allegations, and for Rashida to finally speak her mind. The production team, aware of the seriousness of the situation, made sure every camera angle was perfect because the Explode Jock, who had not yet been confronted with the full story, remained silent, but those who knew him well knew that his silence was a warning sign. This wasn't just reality TV. As the evening went on, Kirk's behavior became increasingly erratic. He was observed pacing the set, making phone calls, and speaking in hushed tones to certain crew members. Kendra, on the other hand, kept her distance from almost everyone, including Jockey. Her usual confidence seemed to have vanished, and even her closest friends on set later stated they had never seen her look so. Visibly shaken backstage, M allegedly held court, speaking privately with a few important cast members. It was evident that he wasn't bluffing. He had evidence that could ruin not only Kirk's but Kendra's reputation as well. Those who spoke with him privately left shaking their heads, murmuring that this scandal would be much bigger than anyone had anticipated. At one point, Kirk tried to approach Mendeecees, possibly to make amends, or to persuade him to keep quiet, but the attempt was brief, and multiple sources make it clear that he had no intention of doing so. Refusing to brush this under the rug, Kirk left the set that night, looking even more anxious than before. The atmosphere in the room was one of shock, dread, and a strange kind of anticipation as the taping came to an end. Everyone knew that this was just the beginning of the story. There would be more revelations, more fallout, and more confrontations once the news went public. Once fans learned about the scandal, the franchise would never be the same. Many of the cast members immediately went to their phones to call friends and family to share what they had seen. The world was about to learn everything, and there was no way to stop it for Rashida. It was a moment of reckoning, a time to decide whether to stand by Kirk once more or finally walk away for Jokey. It was a personal betrayal that cut deeper than any on-screen drama ever could. Media posts began to surface vague hints about a major bombshell dropped during filming. Blogs and gossip sites started speculating about what had happened, piecing together bits of information from cast members' cryptic tweets and Instagram posts for Kirk and Kendra. As the first chapter of this saga progressed, it became evident that no one in that room would ever look at each other the same way again. As the fallout from the scandal escalated, cast members began contacting one another to confirm the details of what had just transpired on set. Whispers spread like wildfire, each story more outrageous than the last, and some claimed that the entire cast knew about Kirk's alleged relationship with Kendra, but had remained silent until now. Others insisted that Mendeecees had evidence so damning that it could end Kirk and Kendra's careers in one fell swoop. Back home, Rashida confronted Kirk about the accusations, but this time was different from previous scandals where she had frequently given Kirk the benefit of the doubt. The proof was indisputable, and Rashida's patience had finally run out. Insiders close to the matter revealed that Rashida demanded the truth, but Kirk's responses were evasive. Rather than admitting anything, he attempted to downplay the evidence, saying it was all a misunderstanding, but Rashida, a seasoned veteran of Kirk's excuses, wasn't buying it. She allegedly told Kirk, "I stood by you through everything, but this is too much." Rashida's words carried weight that they hadn't before. This time, she wasn't just threatening to leave, she was prepared to act. By the following morning, Rashida had already contacted her lawyer to discuss her options. Unlike previous infractions, the stakes were higher than ever before, and this affair threatened not only their personal relationship, but also the businesses they had built. The fallout for Jock was equally intense, and when he finally discovered the full extent of Kendra's involvement, his response was swift and decisive. According to sources, after leaving the reunion taping, Jock left the house he shared with Kendra and checked into a hotel. From there, he started calling his lawyer, the show's producers, and close friends to get advice on how to handle the situation. Jock was determined to hold Kendra accountable in public, and he allegedly demanded that Kendra be kicked out of Love and Hip Hop. He also put his reputation on the show at risk. The producers, concerned about the negative attention the scandal was generating, decided to temporarily put Kendra on the sidelines while they looked into it further. In the meantime, Kendra was under increasing pressure from all sides. Producers, cast members, and even her own family called her, demanding answers. But no matter what she said, the damage had already been done. To make things worse, there were rumors that she wasn't only with Kirk. There were whispers of another covert relationship with a close associate of a different love. The implications were staggering, and Kendra's credibility was in ruins. The whistleblower who started the whole chain of events showed no remorse. he kept on providing information to the show's producers and cast, guaranteeing that the whole story would eventually be revealed. He even hinted that he had more receipts, though he kept quiet about what they contained. The near prospect of more bombshells kept everyone on edge, and as the days passed, the cast found themselves split into factions, with some siding with Rashida in support of her decision to. As Rashida was getting ready to make her next move, she started discreetly separating her financial interests from Kirk's. As the co-owner of their businesses, Frost Bistro Press Boutique, and multiple real estate ventures, Rashida held significant leverage, and insiders revealed that she was working closely with her legal team to ensure that Kirk was not humiliated by Kendra in the most public way possible. That she wouldn't simply walk away with her dignity intact, rather, she would leave with her financial security firmly in place. Kirk, on the other hand, was in a downward spiral with his marriage and his business empire at risk, and his reputation was all but destroyed. He started frantically trying to mend the damage, reaching out to Rashida repeatedly to apologize and beg her to change her mind. But Rashida wasn't moved. This wasn't just another mistake. It was a betrayal that the show's producers couldn't forgive. Threatened to damage the franchise's reputation, but on the other hand, it created an unprecedented amount of buzz, making it one of the most talked about events in the history of love and hip-hop. The producers chose to capitalize on the chaos by teasing viewers with teasers for upcoming explosive episodes that promised the truth about the betrayal and revelations that would change everything. This ensured that viewers would watch to see how it all unfolded. According to people close to the jock, he felt betrayed and humiliated and wasn't content to let the show handle the narrative. He started planning his next move, not just because he was angry at Kay. He was upset with Kirk for betraying their friendship. Kirk's actions were not only personal, they were also incredibly unprofessional. According to reports, the jock even thought about suing Kirk for emotional distress and breach of trust, which could have far-reaching effects. Meanwhile, Kendra's attempts to regain her reputation were mostly ineffective. Fans bombarded her social media accounts with questions, accusations, and criticism. She disabled comments on her posts, but the backlash persisted among many viewers, and Kendra's silence only served to confirm her guilt in the midst of all the chaos. The question on everyone's mind was simply how far each of them would go to protect their own interests. Rashida seemed determined to cut her losses and move on, while Jock prepared for a legal battle that could redefine his career. Kirk scrambled to save what little he had left, and Kendra faced the possibility of. Mendeecees, the person who started it all, watched from the sidelines as the fallout spread like wildfire in the aftermath of the first revelations, setting the stage for even more drama. Kirk's attempts to control the damage, Jock's mounting annoyance, Rashida's cunning moves, and Kendra's public collapse all pointed to one unquestionable truth. The fallout was far from over, and this was just the start of what would turn out to be the most explosive chapter in the history of love and hip-hop. Although Kendra tried to keep a low profile, rumors about her involvement with Kirk and the potential for another covert affair persisted. Her every move was closely watched, and social media was ablaze with conspiracy theories and theories stoked by cryptic posts from cast members and behind-the-scenes leaks. Jock, still in shock over the betrayal, had no interest in making amends and had severed his relationship with Kendra, clarifying it that he did not want to be involved in the drama going forward. However, in private, Jock was taking precautions to safeguard his own interests, according to sources close to him. The jock had started gathering evidence for a legal battle that might lead to a messy, highly public divorce. Jock's rage was no longer limited to Kendra Kirk, who was once a trusted friend and someone Jock considered family. Instead, Kirk was now viewed as the ultimate betrayer of their friendship and a code they had once shared. Jock's frustration boiled over in private conversations with friends and family, and he started looking into ways to hold Kirk accountable. Some even conjectured that Jock might consider filing a lawsuit to recover damages for his reputation. Within the love and hip-hop circle, the man who first exposed the scandal showed no signs of backing down. Instead, he doubled down, hinting that more revelations could be made at any time. While some saw Mendeecees as a troublemaker who had unleashed chaos for dramatic effect, others saw him as a whistleblower who was willing to speak the truth at any cost. Regardless of how people felt about me, one thing was certain: his revelations had changed the game. The producers of Love and Hip Hop weren't going to let the drama go unnoticed, so they started developing a new plot for the upcoming season, teasers with ambiguous hints about revelations that would alter everything. Rumors circulated that Rashida might speak up in a televised interview, and that Kirk and Kendra would have to confront each other on camera. Some insiders even claimed that producers were thinking of creating a spin-off special that would only focus on the fallout from the scandal.